From crop conditions to global trade developments, there's a number of factors influencing the ag land market today. And Spencer Smith with the American Society of Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers joins us now for a closer look. We appreciate your time, Spencer. What are some of the main market movers that you're watching today?
There's certainly a lot of things happening in the ag market right now. As we're all aware, we've got tariffs, interest rates, all kinds of fun things happening. And as far as the land market goes, we've seen a tremendous slowdown as far as volume of sales that have happened. Seasonally, that's just part of the marketplace. We don't see a lot of changes in ownership during the growing season. That's traditionally something that happens during the off season. But we're seeing a big slowdown as far as volume. Our demand, however, has kind of stayed very similar. It's a little bit down. So we've actually seen some prices increase slightly over the last 6 to 8 months, surprisingly. And that's actually been confirmed. Kind of our anecdotal evidence in the countryside of what we've seen for sales has been backed up here with some data from the Federal Reserve, who just came out with their quarterly update. And the Fed's showing across the region here, the Chicago Fed in the Midwest, that we're actually up 4% in land values from the end of 2024. We've seen a nice increase in commodity prices here. We've seen a nice little bump. But the biggest thing right now is that slowdown in sales volume. And I think a major reason for that is sellers who are thinking about selling are just sitting tight. We're in one of the most uncertain times that we've seen from a policy standpoint, from an ag sector standpoint, since COVID. And so we're seeing a big slowdown in that sales volume and the availability of land that's on the market.
Let's dig a little deeper into that uncertainty on the countryside that you just mentioned. Tell me more about kind of the thoughts and feelings, probably some emotions involved in this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure it's everything that you guys are talking about daily here on the program. The tariff conversation and the new tax bill, that is a big thing that's shaking down in Washington right now, has people very uncertain of what the future is going to look like. And so it's certainly something that we're keeping an eye on. And again, when we have uncertain times, people tend to just sit on their hands. They don't want to be the first one to make a decision. They're more reactionary rather than proactive on some things. And we're seeing that even as we start to have conversations with folks who are thinking about selling their farms. We're always going to have turnover that happens in the land market, but the tariffs are a big thing, and the new tax bill. People don't know where to go with their money if they're selling a farm. We're still seeing sellers who do know where they're going with their money are still bringing their farms to market. But if you were to take $1 million, $2 million from your proceeds from your sale of your farm, where are you going to go with it right now? And there's just so much uncertainty. And so that just forces people to sit on their hands, which then decreases our volume. And when demand stays consistent, as we know in simple economics, it's going to keep things kind of steady to slightly up. And that's what we're seeing here in the countryside.
What would you say the outlook towards the 2025 crop is in the Midwest and the potential impacts?
Yeah, absolutely. Here in central Illinois, we are off to a fantastic start. We just had a nice rain shower that came through last night. As you move south in the state into southern Illinois, they're a little bit behind. I'm sure as people have been tracking, getting a lot of planting reports here just in the last 7 days of guys finally getting the crop in down there. But here in central Illinois, things look great. We're very blessed with what we have here. I'm actually taking a road trip through Iowa tomorrow, and going to be interesting to see what the crop condition looks like across the Midwest. But we're off to a good start. We need some heat, we need some sunshine, and that's going to influence. That's certainly going to influence the attitudes as we move into the fall, more traditional sales season. Folks are going to be keeping an eye on what's happening with our supply and demand of our crops, the commodity prices, and I think another reason as to why we've got kind of a more positive spin on things here in the short term. We had some cash flow induced into the countryside with some government payments here recently. A lot of people were getting those payments. And so that is something that's kind of helped buffer some things. I think we all know long term, again, that uncertainty, we don't know what's coming. And so we've got a little bit of a good spin on things right now, but the future, we're waiting to see what happens. And that crop condition is going to be something that we're certainly watching across the industry.
Spencer Smith with the American Society of Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers. We appreciate you joining us as always. Thank you so much.